Shalom, Yahaba Shemiah Shabakatah. Brothers out there, Shalom, Yahweh Shemal Tabash. Sisters out there, it's an Officer 5000. Zarak, Yahweh down in the Israelite School, UK. This is ISUPK Detroit History class. Today's topic will definitely go in deep onto the history of the natives people, First Nations people. Right? A lot of heavy things gotta get covered on the topic because this is, saying serious acts that didn't happen to the native Indians. So the real topic tonight is gonna be on those boarding schools and how those Indian children sent off to boarding school to all of that. We're gonna why into, saying the horrific oppression that actually was done to the native Indians. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't heard this before, this definitely gonna get broke down all the way to the T. All right. Before I even get into that topic, saying make sure that you like, share, and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all the avenues of our social medias. Make sure liking, you sharing, subscribing. Make sure it's reaching out, man. To other people. Reach it out to a family member. Reach it out to friends. You know what I'm saying? That are Israelites. Reach it to everybody. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's our job, man. Just watching this class isn't enough, man. You gotta start passing on these messages. You gotta start, you know what I'm saying, being active. Okay? On that end of using this platform to show, you know what I'm saying, the truth of what's gonna come out. All right. So I'm gonna give you a little minute to do that, and we're gonna go ahead and begin and get started. All right. First thing I want to do, I just want to say this, man. Who have ever known anything about the indigenous people and like when we go out to camp and how we say, you know what I'm saying, you walking on the bones of Native Indians. I'm gonna actually play this video. I'm gonna let you view this because what we're saying is actually true. Okay, when we say that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of, literally telling you the devilish evil things that he has done and crimes that he committed. He has not have gotten, you know what I'm saying? He haven't paid for it. Understand? This is the reason why it's so important for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians waking up all over the world. It's important to be waking up, man, because one day we gonna have that power. One day, man, our King Christ, Yahweh Shah Hamashiach, he gonna return, man, and he's gonna take that power in full effect and authority. All right. So just bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna get that video real quick. All right. We'll get into this class.
A devastating discovery has been made in Canada. The remains of 215 children have been found buried at the site of a former boarding school for Indigenous students. The school in British Columbia was part of a nationwide scheme that took in First Nations children in an effort to assimilate them into Canadian society. Investigations have shown there was widespread abuse. These latest findings are once again opening a wound that has yet to heal.
Row upon row of children's shoes, each pair marking a lost son or daughter. In Vancouver, people gathered to mourn the 215 children whose remains were found at a former Indigenous residential school, with ground-penetrating radar confirming the grim discovery.
It was shocking at every single level. And, right now, our community is grieving. We all had to take time to absorb, what we were told, what we've seen. And, we're still grappling through the effects.
Founded in 1890, the Kamloops School was one of Canada's state-run Indigenous residential schools. After being forcibly separated from their parents, children were made to convert to Christianity and banned from speaking their native languages. Physical and sexual abuse by headmasters and teachers was common. A 2015 report found that over 3,200 children had died from maltreatment and neglect in what it called a cultural genocide. The Kamloops school closed in 1978, but rumours persisted that the deaths of many children had been covered up. Canada's politicians, including Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, said they were heartbroken by the news.
There's nothing more painful in life than losing a child. My heart breaks today thinking of all the loving parents who never saw their children return home.
The Tk'emlúps te Secwépemc Nation says it's working with the coroner and museums to try to shed light on the discovery and find records of the children's deaths.
Tell you something, if that evil video right there didn't give you chills down your spine, man, you don't have no humanity. You understand? Okay. One thing, for real, they putting it out there on the news, and they putting it out there on those platforms that these horrific things, they admitting it, they coming out. The press is admitting the government is obviously behind this. Because guess what? They not trying to search and see who didn't, unalive these children. They not searching and they not looking for the criminals because they are the criminals. Their ancestors, their people are the ones that's responsible for the vicious and the brutal murder. You know what I'm saying? The brutal unaliving of those native babies, man, is coming from that nation of people. And they play it on the screen as if they are so sorry and they're so sorrowful. If you were so sorry, man, won't you just give the natives their Indian and their culture back? You understand? You know what I mean? They're not truly sorry. What you seen was the average propaganda that you see on TV and news, man. But they have to play this role in being sorrowful for the tragedies that didn't happen. And you really look at it, man, these devils, they don't give a damn. You understand? Deep down in their souls and in their hearts, man, they feel that those things are justified. All right? I just wanted to really show that and help you understand, man, like what the natives and the First Nations people went through. They are Israelites, man. They go through these curses as well. Curses just didn't skip and just, you know what I'm saying, it all happened to Judah. Every single 12 tribe out there has absolutely faced horrific, horrifying brutality and murder and rape. You understand? So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to bring out a scripture in the Bible that's upon Gad, right? This is right here. This is in the book of Genesis, the 49th chapter, and verse 19. It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him. You understand? That right there is 100% truth of what happened to the Gadites, so-called Native Indians. You know what I'm saying? They true nationality according to the Bible, they are Gad. According to the Bible, the tribe of Gad. You understand? And the Bible said that a troop will overcome them. This right here is the absolute 100% proof that they have been overcame, man. Gad has been absolutely conquered by the oppressor. You understand? Gad understand who's the devil is because of the tragedies and the horrific things that didn't happen to these children, the things that didn't happen to the nation, the tribe of Gad. You don't even see Gadites like that. You understand? Because they've been so brutalized and unalived by the tons of millions. You understand? They've been super brutalized. We're gonna bring a lot of that up tonight. I'm actually gonna pull up an article. We're gonna go into the New York Times today. Just bear with me. All right, make sure you get those likes up, man. Get those likes, shares, and subscribes up, because this right here is a topic, man. This right here is not a joke. This ain't nothing to be reckoned with. All right. So I'll pull up this article real quick. Bear with me. All right, this is from the New York Times, the Native American boarding school system. So this right here was a system that the Native Indians, you know what I mean, had to suffer and go through. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this. It says, for more than 150 years, spurred by federal assimilation policies beginning in the early 19th century, hundreds of thousands of Native American children were sent to boarding schools, across the country. In many cases, they were forcibly removed from their homes. Okay, so children were sent to boarding schools, and when they say in many cases they was forced, this was the government doing it. The government had control of this. At this time, this was the government doing this at this time. All right. They gave them, real life. You're gonna choose to give us your children. We're gonna take your children. We're gonna punish you. You're gonna kill you. We're gonna do something to you. Saying we're gonna definitely gotta bring this stuff out because you have to know this history. You gotta understand why we go out there and, you know what I'm saying, with the spirit of the Most High, we go and we teach and we bring out and we expose everything that everything the crimes that have been done to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. You understand? Like we gonna really. This is why we do this. We ain't just doing this. We not getting paid for none of this that we do. This is wholeheartedly, man, out of the spirit of the Most High. We standing up for righteousness and the things that was done unrighteously to us. You understand? So I'm gonna keep on going into this. All right. It says a new accounting shows that at least 523 institutions were part of the sprawling network of boarding schools for Native American children, and at least 408 received federal funding. Renewed attention to the system by the U.S. government. Okay, the U.S. government was in charge of this. This is the people that were over these things, over the boarding school, given the okay for them to absolutely take. You had no control. Native Indians had no control of their children, meaning what? They didn't have the choice to raise their children. Their children was forcibly taken from them. Okay, you have many books that come out called "Killed." I believe the book. I don't want to get it messed up. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say it wrong, but I believe that book is called. You know what I'm saying? "Kill the Indian and Save the Boy." I believe I will look that up, man. But these references is referring to what they're inciting, their detailistic things that they were trying to do. What they was trying to do to these children, man. They was trying to force them up out of being being their culture. You know what I'm saying? Speaking their language. You understand? Native Indians, they spoke the Hebrew. They knew the Lashawan Kodash. They rocked the shield of David. You understand? So, of course, the oppressor know what he was doing, and also the oppressor understand the children that he had in his hands, the people that he had fully conquered. He was fully aware of what he was doing, man. All right? So we're going to get some more. Researchers in indigenous communities is revealing a deeper understanding of the difficult, sometimes deadly experiences of children in the schools. It says many children faced beatings, malnutrition, hard labor, and other forms of neglect and abuse. Some never returned to their families. Hundreds are known to have died. So these children, about hundreds was dying, man. Think about your baby girl, you having just having your firstborn child, right? And you don't even get a chance to raise your child. They get taken from you by the government. This is something that the Native Indians had to face. Okay, I'm gonna actually get that. I'm gonna drop down all the way in the article where it speaks on that. Bear with me 1 second. All right, so I gotta read this part right here because I can't skip none of this. It says right here, it says almost 7,800 children attended Carlisle's Indian Industrial School. This right here was a boarding school, and it says where assimilation was a founding principle. Okay, that word assimilation, let me just look it up so I can just give you the perfect understanding of what it's saying. Assimilation is this: assimilation, the process of taking in and fully understanding information or ideas. Let me see. Salaki, bear with me. Assimilation is, it says, of absorbing information, experiences. It says the meaning of assimilate is to take into the mind and thoroughly understand. Okay, so this is what they were doing. They were erasing whoever they once was or what they ever known and reestablishing their mind. The government was reestablishing these children's mind as into what they wanted them to be. You know what I mean? In a lot of these cases, you're gonna see, you know what I mean, the physical force that they used on these children to do this, and this is something only a devil do, man. This is something that's heartless. You're gonna hear some of this stuff, man. It's gonna make you rethink. All right. So let me go back to where I was. So it said assimilation was a founding principle. So this was one of their founding goals, man, is to, you know what I'm saying, to brainwash these children, as they say that word, brainwashing. But they was trying to brainwash these children into losing their culture and understanding American culture and living like how the oppressor wanted them to live. Okay, so it says upon entry, children were renamed and stripped of their tribal clothing and hairstyles and promotional materials. The school um, disseminated before and after portraits of students. Okay, so they'll take a picture of how the student was. It's a before and after picture, basically, right? And it's saying, in some cases, Native families willingly sent their children, hoping schools might offer future opportunities or better conditions than reservations. Often, though, the process was chorus, it's like it, corrosive as part of an application process for Thomas Indian School. Parents were required to give up custody of their children. So upon this exchange, they had to literally give up the control, custody of their kids. All right. So you definitely, this is basically what they were doing. They basically said, you got to give your kids away. All your authority and you being over your child, giving it basically, you trusting the oppressor to raise these children the way they see fit. And what you gonna find out, man, these oppressors, man, are some wild, dumb ass animals, man. These people right here don't understand why the Lord hates them. The Lord hate Esau, man. And it's righteous for it to happen. It's righteous for the Lord to have the hatred that he had for them. You understand? And the judgment that's coming to them and towards the end. You understand? This is the real facts of why the Lord would never love the oppressor. This is the real true facts of it. Y'all just be thinking we just crazy, we don't know what we talking about. Man, these oppressors, man, just told you that by force, they beating your children, they doing whatever the hell they want to do to your kids. You understand? And this is what the Native Indians had to face. So it says right here, parents who resisted the boarding school system could be severely punished. The mother of 3-year-old Nushuk of the Tinglet tribe was incarcerated in 1895 after refusing to return her daughter to Douglas Island Friends Mission School. So, all right, so the state, think about it like this, man. Say the state of Michigan, right? This is what happened. Say like the state of Michigan say, you know what? Your children, you can have your kids up until the age of 3. All right, as soon as they old enough to start going to school, you gotta turn them over into this boarding school. You gotta give them up to the government. This is what the Native Indians had to do. This is what the First Nations people had to suffer and go through. And at the time when they had did that, if they resisted to do it, they would be severely punished. You already know what it means to be severely punished. That's death. You understand? That was death and destruction. That's death that was coming to them. Then on top of that, or you get thrown in prison. You get incarcerated, thrown in jail if you didn't, you know what I mean, return your kids into that system of this boarding school. Okay? And that right there is just showing you the real proof. Um, Let me keep going. I'm gonna read on some more. It says Haskell Indian Industrial School Training. It's like it. Haskell Indian Industrial Training School, like many others, relied on student labor to grow and cook food, sew clothes, handle building maintenance and construction, and produce revenue from items sold in the school shop. It says a record book from the early 1900s from Santa Fe Indian School includes a diagram of a cemetery that shows the locations of 25 graves, all but two of which belong to students. All right. So there's 25 graves there. You know what I'm saying? And out of those 25, there's only two of those children that survived that school. Think about uh, the horrifying hell that those children going through in those boarding schools. Like it wasn't no safe. It wasn't no safe thing for them. They didn't have no safety. You know what I'm saying? They were stripped of having the thought of being safe as a child. You understand? And it was all the way up in like I say, it wasn't no restrictions to those kids. Those kids could die in the hands of those oppressors in that boarding school, those teachers or whatever. They not no damn teachers. Those were vile, disgusting animals. They was vile, disgusting devils, man. You understand? They were devils. Just doing absolutely all manner of evil to them children. That's what they are. If you really want me to keep it real, these wasn't no damn teachers in that boarding school. These were murderers. You understand? These were murderers. These were a people that they didn't have no care at all for humanity for the native Indians. By any means that they went through every obstacle to make sure that this Indian don't act like an Indian no more. Beat the hell out of them. They raped them. You understand? A lot of these kids, they died. By any means, they made them American. This is the way how they really got made American, man. They got took advantage of in a way that is just so disgusting. So disgusting, man. It should disgust a oppressor to know his real true history, man. You understand? That's why a lot of Caucasians they commit suicide, man. Once they really realize how evil their families were and what they really truly been it out for, little Timmy go put a shotgun in his head, go put a shotgun in his mouth, man, and he go ahead and blow himself away, man. Understand? All right. I'm gonna get some more on this. It says the Native American boarding school system was vast and entrenched, ranging from small shacks in remote Alaskan outposts to refurbished military barracks in the deep south to large institutions up and down both the west and east coast. Until recently, incomplete records and scant federal attention kept even the number of schools, let alone more details about how they function unknown. The 523 schools represented here constitute the most comprehensive accounting the date of institutions involved in the system. Let me drop down some. All right, so it says this right here. It says, beyond the vast federal system, this new list also sheds light on boarding schools that operated without federal support. Religious organizations ran at least 105 schools. Many were Catholic, Episcopalian, and Episcopalian. But smaller congregations such as the Quakers ran schools of their own. Wherever they were located or whoever ran them, the schools largely shared the mission of assimilating indigenous students by erasing their culture. Okay, this was the assimilation. This is what I was talking about in the beginning. How they tried to eradicate their culture. This is what they was doing by any means. Okay, all right. They dealt very violently and treacherously. It came to the assimilation and making them, you know what I'm saying, feed into American society and culture. Okay, so it says children's hair was cut off, their clothes were burned, they were given new English names and were required to attend Christian religious services. This right here is so evil. This is why we say we not no Christians. You understand what I'm saying? In the name of Christianity, man, First Nations kids, children, they were being brutalized into following Christianity and your religious beliefs that you believe in American society today, as if God is in it. You sitting around being a Christian, man. This is something that comes from the oppressor. God don't have a hand in Christianity at all. Lord do not dwell in Christianity. Trust me. We're going to come out, we're going to read it to you in the Bible and show you. All right? You want to know anything about the Lord, if you want to know anything about the truth, man, you got to come into ISUPK under Commanding General Yohana to get that and to know the Bible, the true spirit of the Lord. You got to come in here, man. You understand? You cannot listen to America because we showing you right now how evil and how treacherous these kids have been dealt, how they've been treated. You understand? Guess what? Christianity is involved in it. You seeing it right here. And it says, attend Christian religious services, and they were forced to perform manual labor both on school premises and on surrounding farms. Those who dared to keep speaking their ancestral languages or observing their religious practices were often beaten. So any children who rebelled against, you know what I'm saying, Christianity or the Christian beliefs that they was putting on them, Catholic, Episcopalian, and Episcopalian, those religions that they was throwing over the natives people, if any of those children try to rebel or go back to their old culture or their old ways, they was beaten for that. Okay? And let me tell you something, when an oppressor get the beating on a kid that's of another nation, like a black, like a Hispanic or a Native Indian, they not gonna have no type of remorse on that child. You understand? They gonna beat that child like it's a grown man, like it's a fully grown up. They gonna beat the hell out of that kid. You understand? That's what they were doing. And the proof of it, that children was dying from the beating, the harsh beatings and the harsh treatment, the cruel treatment that they was getting. They died from those things. So you can only imagine the level of violence that was getting put upon them. For it wasn't like you know what I'm saying, a disciplined little whooping you get. They were really beating the hell out of and really like destroying them kids, man. All right. Second. second. It says, let me see. Lost my spot selected. Bear with me 1 second. While the boarding school era might seem like distant history, aging survivors. This may seem, this says aging survivors, many in their 70s and 80s, are striving to ensure the harm that was done is remembered. Okay. So, although you may think like this probably happened such a long time ago, it's survivors still today in their 70s and in their 80s that actually had to attend those boarding schools. You understand? With attending those boarding schools, they saw the tragedies that did go on. Clothes being burned, hair being cut, children getting beat to death, children coming up missing, you never seeing them again. You know how scary that is for a child? You know what I'm saying? A child in there in that boarding school rebellion, being rebellious, and that teacher, so-called teacher, say, you know what? Pull him in that room. That teacher beat the hell out of that child until he's dead, and guess what? The whole, nobody see him no more. You know how scary that is? It's crazy. You understand? Now this right here was an actual, you know what I'm saying, a native brother, right? Name was Ben Sherman. This was the name that they gave his native brother. Okay, it says a member of the Ogla uh, Sioux tribe who spent 4 years living in at the Ogla Community School in Pine Ridge said he placed the emergence of some of the worst abuses and at Native American boarding schools. With the sunset of the shooting wars waged by the United States government against indigenous people, the last decades of the 19th century, the government was not done with war, so the next phase involved war against the children, said Mr. Sherman, an 83-year-old, a former aerospace engineer. And it says, don't try to tell me this wasn't genocide, added Mr. Sherman, who said in an interview that he had once run away from the school and walked nearly 50 miles trying to get home. They went after our language, our culture, our family ties, our land. They succeeded on almost every level. Some of the most enduring impacts of the schools involve trauma passed on from one generation to the next, Mr. Sherman said, explaining how his immediate family attended boarding schools for 4 generations. His great grandmother, Lizzie Globe, was among the first group sent to a boarding school in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. All right, so this right here is like not fabrication. This is like real Native Indian history. You understand? Natives people history. This is what they really had to suffer. All right, this right here, you keep reading in this article, man. This is hell that they had to face. This is hell that these children had to go through. All right, he talking about traumatic abuse that didn't happen to them. That was done by the oppressor, man. Who's paying for the abuse that was done to these people? You understand? Again, the scriptures say that Gad, the troop, was going to overcome them. This is what it's talking about. This is exactly what it's talking about. How Gad had absolutely got destroyed. Not only destroyed, man, but took an advantage of. know what I'm saying? We're gonna go into some scriptures. Go into a couple scriptures real quick just to show you, man, that these scriptures match up exactly with the history of the Gadites. All right. So we're gonna go to, let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 32. Deuteronomy 28 and 32, it says, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people." This is what was going on. This not only happened to us Negroes in America, this also happened to our brothers, the native tribes, man, our native brothers. This also happened to them. Okay, they children were given unto another people. They had to forcibly turn their custody of their children to the government into boarding school. These schools was made to destroy the lives of these children, man, and Americanize them. They called it a simulation. This is the real truth of what really happened to the native people. Okay? You understand? This was what those boarding schools, absolutely all type of manner of evil that was done to those children, man. You understand? When I played the video, that video said that it was 215 bodies of skeletons of the remains of children that was in boarding in Canada. You understand? Dead bodies that thing right there really happened to our people. This was an evil people that done this thing. The white man really is the devil, man. You understand? This right here, this is a very difficult topic to even teach on because of the tragedies that was done to our native brothers, man. You understand? It's our job, man, to get those native brothers out those reservations, man. It's our job to go to those reservations and go get our brothers. That's what we got to do. Reading these stories about our brothers, man, is sickening. This is absolutely tragic. You understand? Keep on reading that scripture. That scripture said, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Thy eyes shall look, and fear will longer for them all the day long. There shall be no might in thy hand." You know what I'm saying? That's us as Negroes felt that, but our native brothers felt it as well. They felt that as well, man. You understand? And they didn't have no control. They didn't have no might in their hand. Yeah, of course they fought back, but ultimately, man, they were conquered. Children, there was no saving those kids. You understand? You put your life on the line for your children. I'm saying, to find out somebody, a whole nother race, an ungodly race, an unrighteous race got hold of your babies and just say, you know what, I could do whatever I want to you. I'm in charge of you now. Think about the brutal murders. You know what I'm saying? The brutal murders that they have committed against those native babies, man. Think about the unfair treatment that was done to them, bro. Like, look, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we got to come back to the Lord. Understand? You gotta come back to the Most High, man. This right here is not a game. We don't play. It's time to get real disciplined. It's time to really lock in and lock hold on the Most High, man, and focus on the Lord. Focus on what needs to be done, man. This right here is very sad and treacherous. Very sad and treacherous what didn't happen to our brothers, man. All right. Go back into the article. Got any questions, any comments, anything like that? Just go ahead and definitely go ahead and lock in on it, man. This right here is, like I said, is very devastating. Okay. Let me get back to let me get back to the stories, right? So this right here, this was the brother's grandmother. One of Ms. Globe's sons, Mark, attended the Rapid City Indian boarding school. The environment there was so harsh. Mr. Sherman said that in 1910, when Mark was 17, he and three other boys ran away. They ran away from that boarding school because they knew that it was evil that just was being done to them that they couldn't bear no more. They had that was their way of getting away, man. That was their way of getting out of that hell that they had to face. Okay, so they decided to take, you know what I'm saying, a run for it. They followed the railroad track south toward the Pine Ridge Reservation. At one point, Mr. Sherman said Mark and another boy slept on the railroad tracks. A train rolled through, striking and killing the two boys. While researchers say the known toll is still far from complete, there are at least hundreds of Native children who died while attending boarding schools. In site after site, children's bodies were stuffed into graves without regard for the burial traditions of their families or their cultures. They didn't care about these dealing with a senseless people. And it's very sad because black people still trying to prove themselves to the wrong nation of people, man. Trying to really, really prove yourself to a nation of people that not only, you know what I'm saying, put your brothers through hell, put you through hell, they put your ancestors through it. They done put us all in hell, man. You understand? It's like you still want to be a part of this. You still thinking that this is okay. Like, when is you gonna wake up, like, man? It's time to really wake up out of this, man. This right here is disgusting. This right here is absolutely 100% awful what happened to our people, man. Understand? It's boiling my blood to even read any more of this because this right here is just inhumane what I'm reading about. You know what I'm saying? You have children. You love your children. And you raising them up right. They get taken from you. You're gonna constantly think about that. You're gonna constantly, as a parent, think about the safety and the well being of your child. The safety and the well being. Are they okay? Is somebody harming them? They in harm's way. You're gonna constantly think about that as a parent. So for natives, well, our native brothers and sisters, this was hell for them at that time. This was a time of real life hell because they had to have my baby gonna be okay. I wonder is my baby gonna be all right. And the sad part is, a lot of those babies was not okay. A lot of all of them, none of them was all right. A lot of them died. You know what I'm saying they ain't never come back to their. You know what I mean? That's a jacked up story. You understand? That right there, that's worth giving up drugs. That's worth giving up. That's worth giving up all of the things, man, that you know what I'm saying, you lust for. It's worth giving it up. Just fighting for staying 10 toes down with him because this right here, these are tragedies. He ain't fabricating. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't pulling no scriptures right now. I'm really telling you the real true history of what happened to our brothers and you know what I mean, the reasons of them being in these boarding schools. The reason they was putting those our native brothers and native brothers and sisters in boarding schools was to simulate them and take full advantage and control. It was a very evil thing that they did. You know what I'm saying? Real evil. You know, and this is why I love the Bible. Bible give me comfort and it give me patience. Because one day these devils gonna get what they asking for. One day these devils, man, they gonna meet their day. They gonna meet their judgment that they deserve. That's coming, man. That's coming to them. Understand? That right there is coming to them. And it says in the recent years, tribal nations around the United States have begun to use technologies like remote sensing surveys and ground penetrating radar to score locations for evidence of burial sites. In July, um, the Paiute Indian tribe of Utah confirmed that 12 children were buried in unmarked graves at the site of Panguitch Indian boarding school, southern Utah. So what you're gonna realize at each boarding school, those deaths and bodies, you know what I'm saying, of kids, children, deaths and bodies of our brothers, they babies, they little ones, dead and gone. Understand that's something that happened. That's the tragedy of what happened to our brothers. That right there, tough. Stuff they really, really, you know what I'm saying, they expound on. It goes to show you the spirit oppressor, right? I'm gonna go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 10. Let this be a lesson too, man. If you new and you tuning in to this and you listening, hearing about the things that's happening, what didn't happen in this history, boarding school, and the history of what didn't happen to our brothers, you wanna take this, man, you wanna edify yourself and you wanna change your life. You know what I'm saying? You wanna get right with the constantly get right with the Most High. It says right here in Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 10 to never trust thy enemy. But like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. You know what I'm saying? That's what the native Indians, our brothers, this is why these laws in the Bible is so important. The laws in the Bible for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, all Israelites. You understand? It is so important because guess what? You're not following these laws, man. You see the danger that you can inhabit. You see that the Lord will not be with you, man. The Lord will not be with you if you sinning against him and you going against him. The Lord not gonna be with you, man. You have to discipline yourself. You gotta have discipline. It comes to the ISUPK, you gotta have serious discipline. You gotta discipline yourself, man. You gotta be willing to change. You gotta be willing to sacrifice. You really gotta be a prisoner of Christ. You gotta be a prisoner to Christ. And then there's certain things you cannot do. You understand? Scriptures say, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. This is the scriptures was saying about Esau, man. Esau is not your friend in this earth. I don't give a damn if you a black man and you say, hey, I got white friends. I'm telling you, out the Bible, they are not your friends, man. The Lord is telling you. The Lord is saying that don't trust your enemy. The Lord is telling you that Esau is not your friends. Lord telling you the oppressor is not, he is not okay with you. Y'all are enemies, born enemies. And there's no change in that, man. There is no change in that at all. The Lord said to never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. You understand? And it also says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as thou hadst wiped a looking glass. Thou shalt know that his rust having been altogether wiped away. You understand? You gonna realize there's something off about this cat right here. There's something off about the oppressor. You know what I mean? Yeah, he'll humble himself and he'll show you mannerisms, smile in your face. He do all those things. Yeah, you gotta take good heed of him, man. The Lord say to beware of him. You gotta beware. You understand? Because if you don't, it's not gonna go good for you. You know what I mean? You'll get caught up in Esau's trap, man, and next thing you know, you're gonna be in bad shape. You're gonna be in real bad shape. Saying I feel bad for brothers that believe in the oppressor system and believing in this Caucasian beast. Lord said don't do it. Lord count him as your enemy. You understand? And it says, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. This is where the Native Indians went wrong. By saying, okay, we should trust these people. We should have mannerisms to these people. This is how important the laws are, man. This is how important the Lord said, man, don't do this. Don't do that. You know what I mean? He giving us the laws, so not only will it be better, but have to suffer what's going to come if we break that law. You know what I'm saying? You won't have to suffer anything if you just listen and you follow the Lord and his commandments in the first place. You understand? Listen, man. This is our last captivity. Man, this right here is it. We have to fight and we got to get out of this. Understand? We gonna have to fight. What do I mean by fight, man? You gonna have to fight your demons, buckle down. You gonna have to put in. You gonna build this kingdom of heaven, man. Build. We gonna build until Christ return. Crack that sky. Understand? We gonna make our election sure. That's what we gotta do here in the UPK. Native Indians, if they followed this law right here, they wouldn't have set the oppressor by them. They wouldn't have trust the oppressor. You understand? Because the oppressor was looking for an opportunity to just backstab them, kill them all, kill all the men, rape all the women, take advantage of all the children, mold the children, and raise them up to be something so effing evil. Because that's all your oppressor is. He's evil, man. He an evil being for real. If you sitting here and you giving a damn about him, you have no soul. You don't have no soul. Understand? I could see if I was just lying and, you know what I mean, capping and just having some hatred in my heart. This is the real reality of what he has done to our people. You should never feel happy, you know what I mean, being conquered. You should never feel like somebody. No, no. You should come back and follow the Lord. All right? Second. But that's one thing and for certain, man. Things that goes on and happen with us, you shouldn't be satisfied with that. There's no satisfaction that comes with being conquered. Being a conquered people is nothing to ever brag about. Nothing to ever joke about. You understand? Without your identity of the Lord, you gonna be a joke in the eyes of the oppressor. Gonna be a joke in the eyes of every single nation and every single enemy that's against you. Sad part for black people sometimes, they act and pretend like they don't know who their enemy are. They think their enemy is Pookie and Ray Ray down the street. They think Pookie and Ray Ray is their enemies. Pookie and Ray Ray is your cousin. That's your brothers, man. That's your own race, man. Like we gotta reverse this thing. We gotta reverse whatever we thinking in our mind. We gotta get back on the vibe with the Lord. Gotta get back on the Lord good side, man. Because when the Lord, this. I'm reading this to help you understand when the Lord is not with you, man. When the Lord ain't with you, anything is liable to happen to you and your family and all your generation. You understand? So let me get some more. This part of this story in this article is called "The Names of White Men Sold on Our Backs." A driving force behind the frenetic expansion of the boarding school system was Richard Henry Pratt, a military officer who fought in the Red River War, a campaign in the 1870s to forcibly remove Comanche and Kiowa and other tribes from the southern plains of the United States. In 1879, Mr. Pratt founded the Carlisle Indian Industrial School, what had been Army barracks in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and set about transforming it to a flagship institution, spawning dozens of similar schools around the United States. He was blunt about his mission, as an infamous proclamation: "Kill the Indian in him and save the man." This was the book I was referring to, and this was it right here. This was what it was called: "Kill the Indian in him, save the man." This something that where Caucasians felt like they were doing our native brothers a favor, saying, "I killed you, I brought humanity inside you." That is something that is very arrogant. Not only arrogant, it's disrespectful, and they never needed none of that shit you ever done to them. You understand? Like, this right here shows you the real hatred that the oppressor had for Israelites. By no means necessary. Don't get mistaken in thinking like the oppressor never loved no Israelite. All the 12 tribes he hate. You understand? And it ain't by coincidence. The scripture tell you, the prophecies in this Bible tell you that he hates them. Okay, this is the hatred being spewed in. Mr. Pratt dreamed of abolishing the reservations and scattering the entire population of native children across the country, with some 70,000 white families, each taking in one Native American child. He came up short in this effort, but he did succeed in creating a model that placed schools in white communities, often far from the reservations where native children were born. Alright, So unless you're not at an actual reservation, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna really see our native brothers like that. I mean, there's a reason for it. Reason for that, they scattered abroad for one. Two, the white man is the goddamn devil. White man is the Caucasian is the reason for that. Caucasian is the reason why you don't see a lot of natives walking up and down the street, or you know what I'm saying, in your community like that. Because this is the sad part. We walking on the bones of a lot of our native brothers because the oppressor. Because the oppressor, we walking on the bones of our brothers. You understand? And that right there is such a horrible thing. You know what I mean? If you got some soul in your body, man, you will understand, man. Like this right here, you just can't allow. As a man, you can't go down like that. And your race just go down like. As a man, man, you gotta be able to stand on business. I know they say that quote, but I'm very serious when I say this quote right here about standing on what you believe in. This is something, man, you should really stand on. The Bible tells you, blueprint by blueprint, to come back to the Lord correctly, man. And then on top of that, you got to do it the righteous way. You understand? That's coming up in the ISUPK, man. Being taught the right things to do and being guided correctly. Somebody overseeing, you know what I mean, the mistakes that you make and correcting you as a brother. You know what I mean? That's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take a big, massive amount of change, man. Like we got work to do. We gotta go get all the 12 tribes. I know I made this class about the Native Indians. All 12 tribes we gotta go get them, man. We gotta go get them. That's our job. That's our job, man. Let's see, and then let me tell you something. These boarding schools look like prisons. That's what they look like, man. They look like little mini prison institutions. All right. All right, man. Let's just definitely go into let's go into some more scriptures because you gotta understand that it's important that you gotta come back to the Lord. All right. Just gonna have to do that because when I'm explaining to you, this is a curse. This is a curse that fell upon our brothers. By all means, none of the 12 tribes escaped none of the curses, man. All those curses, nobody escaped that. 12 tribes. It says right here in Deuteronomy 28 and 50, it says, a nation of fierce continents shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. That nation is your oppressor today. Guess what? Yeah, they'll bring the information out that they did it. Guess what? They're not looking for themselves. They're not looking to incriminate themselves and throw themselves and hold themselves accountable for killing off the natives. They not gonna hold themselves accountable for that. You know what I mean? The devil, oppressive feel that he done a big huge favor to them. His eyes don't feel that he done nothing wrong. You understand? That's why the Lord is why it's important, man. You doing what the Most High say to do, man. You ain't gotta worry about it. Gotta worry about no nation trying to come at your neck the way they disrespectfully came at us. It says, a nation of fierce continents which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. Alright? That's what those native children had to deal with when they were in those boarding schools. They had to deal with treacherous people that You know what I'm saying? That didn't care about them, didn't show no favor in them at all, absolutely by any means. If it took to take their life, they was gonna make them and they was gonna Americanize those children. They were going to make those children Christians. They were going to put religion in those children and brainwash them by any means necessary. That's what they were gonna do. We're gonna go to the book of we go to the book of Psalms 36th chapter. I'll start at verse 1, and it says, to the chief musician, Psalm of David, servant of the Lord. The transgression of the wicked said within my heart that there is no fear of God before his eyes. This is the spirit that your oppressor have. This is the spirit that the oppressor have. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to blacks, Hispanics, and natives people, the spirit is don't fear the Most High. Don't give a damn about the Most High's people. Whatever the hell he see fit and whatever the hell he want to do to us, he's on top. I mean, this is how he really feel in his heart. This is how the oppressor feel. It says, for he flattereth himself in his own eyes, to his iniquity be found to be hateful. Alright? He flattereth himself, man. He brag about all of his accomplishments and everything that how America just came along and it's so beautiful to him and all of the just you just work hard for it. Lord put his prophets on the streets. Finally realized of a hateful bastard that he truly is. You understand? You know what I'm saying? And they put it into the image of others. This bastard necessarily don't give a damn about his own hatred. But when the Lord put his prophets out there on the street, when the ISUPK started going out there on them streets and prophesying against this empire, you know what the oppressor started to see? He started to see that other people is realizing how much of a devil he really is. He not only seeing how much of a devil he is, but the influence of everybody else in the community starting to see who he truly is because we bring it out, man. We bring it out there on the streets. We expose him in his face. We show him the ISUPK is like a mirror, man. Like a mirror. We go out there and we show you who you really are. That's what we were doing. You understand? And it says, the words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He have left off to be wise and to do good. All right, this is the real true spirit of the oppressor. This spirit right here will murder your family. This spirit right here, that the devil that he has on him, because the oppressor is the devil. Spirit he got on him, the spirit to hurt, harm, and kill anything that gets in his way. What he feel in his mind that is wrong, he's gonna bring serious harm to him. That's what Esau do. Esau not only bring harm to you, he bring harm to your little ones, family, you know what I'm saying, the weak. He go and harm the weak, prey on the weak. That's what he does. Go find the weakest ones in your family, and he'll go hurt, harm, and torture them till they, you know what I'm saying, they up out of here. That's the spirit. That's what we're talking about. Like when the scriptures say, you know, of a fierce countenance, someone that's gonna have hatred for you, not gonna regard your young or your old. Esau, if he hates you, man, he gonna see your granddad. He gonna see, you know what I'm saying. Just showing you. I'm just giving an example of see your grandfather, He gonna unalive him. That's the spirit he got. It's to unalive him just to try to prove it. Okay. He devised mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good, and he abhorreth not evil. Showing you, man, that this bastard has a very wicked, evil spirit on him, man. Real evil spirit that you do not sleep on. Why Israelite? But Israelite, meaning what? If you so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, it's important for you to know this information. This information to save your life. This information give you the guidance and the rules, and you know what I'm saying, the understanding, the breath of life of the Lord, man. The breath of the life of the Most High is the laws, statutes, and commandments that you're supposed to live by. This is something that you need, man. You need these things. This is what is going to keep you wise and aware and vigilant. All right? Get ready and close this class out. Understand? But before I even close this class, I want to grab one more scripture, right? I'm gonna get the book of Isaiah. Actually, Salakia. I'm gonna get the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 10. This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 10. And it says, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever." This is the real true judgment that is going to happen to Esau. This is a judgment that have not happened yet. This right here is a future prophecy of what's going to happen to the oppressor for the treacherous crimes that he have committed against the Israelites. Because of all the violence and the cruelty and his senseless brutality, his senseless unaliving, his senseless murdering, all of that, man, Lord said that he's going to get cut off. That's the future of the oppressive society. This is the future of Caucasians. They're going to get cut off. They're going to get cut off like a Hittite, a Jebusite, a Girgashite. You don't even know those nations today because King David cut them off by slaughter. They getting cut off, man. The Lord said it's going to happen. That nation, you ain't even going to hear about this nation. This nation is going to be dispersed. What they have done to the children of Israel. This nation, man, the Lord is going to wipe that whole nation out. That whole nation is not going to be on the earth no more. It's going one day, man, in the future, it's going to be a day, man, where it's not going to be a such thing as an Edomite. It's not going to be a such thing as a Caucasian. It's not going to be a such thing as the tribe of Edom. It's not going to exist no more. The Lord said He's going to cut them off forever. That's what the Lord said He's going to do. You understand? Because your violence against the children of Israel is going to get you cut off forever. That's what's coming. That's what's coming to Esau. All right. Also got more too. And it says in Obadiah 1 and 15, "For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen." We are in the last days. Don't be confused. Don't get mistaken, man. We are at the end. These the end times, man. Don't ever get that mistaken nor confused. Look and pay close attention of what's going on in the earth, man. The day of the Lord is near upon the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Meaning what? All the crimes that you have done, think about all the crimes. Think about the history. Think about all the conquering that you have been doing, that your race is responsible for. The Caucasian race is responsible for so much murder and brutality and inhumanity in the earth. So much, the point where Lord come back to when the Lord come to judge you, it's gonna be done unto you. It's gonna happen to you. You're gonna get paid back what you put out there. And then it also says, thy reward shall return upon thy own head. Reward is gonna return right upon your own head. You rewarded yourself with these billions, these trillions of dollars, mainly through slave labor, mainly through conquering and just taking over, stealing, and being a thief that you are. You understand? You stole America. Stole America from the native Indians. Lord is going to reward you back for what you have done. You stole this land gonna get stolen from you. And it ain't even being stolen, it's gonna get took and ripped apart, ripped away from you. Anything you ever had dominion over, the Lord coming for. Christ gonna come and take it. Christ gonna come in power, man, and overthrow your government. Understand? Christ gonna come with angels, man, and it's gonna be no more heard of Esau's in charge of anything. You ain't gonna be in charge of shit. Christ's return. That is a fact. So although you may be arrogant, Lord, man, he gonna judge you in a way that you are not ready and prepared for. You ain't gonna see it coming. All right. That being said, man, make sure you pay your Passover fee. You understand? Passover, we got one more month. We're going to be down there in Durham, North Carolina. You understand? It is going down. We're going to get it in, man. We're going to get it all the way right with the Lord, man. We're going to get our spirit right for the Most High. We're going to stand strong for the nation of Israel, man. You understand? It's going to be a Durham, North Carolina takeover. All right? That being said, Shalom, Israel.